Welcome to another deep dive from AI 10X, brought to you by 10 Leaves. Today, we're not heading out to the edge of space or, diving into the metaverse. We're actually coming right back down to Earth, to the very fields that feed us. Picture this. It's a scorching summer day, the clock's ticking, and there's this race against time, right? To harvest a crop before it spoils. It's a race often lost, frankly, due to human exhaustion, limited hands. Well, today we're diving into how artificial intelligence isn't just helping in that race. It seems like it's rewriting the rules entirely, transforming one of humanity's oldest and maybe most demanding tasks, agricultural harvesting.
That's absolutely right. I mean, traditionally, harvesting has been just immensely labor-intensive, often under really challenging conditions, too. But now you've got these cutting-edge AI-powered robots stepping into this really crucial role. And they promise not just efficiency, but a level of precision and scale that could, well, fundamentally bolster our global food supplies for the future.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to really unpack what this revolution looks like on the ground. We'll explore the benefits, which are quite remarkable, sometimes surprising even, and also the hurdles, the challenges it faces as it tries to scale up globally, and of course that really exciting vision for agriculture's future that AI is starting to paint for us.
Yeah, it's a field, pun intended, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
that's just ripe with innovation. Some really fascinating tech breakthroughs happening.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. For anyone listening who might be more familiar with AI in, say, finance or healthcare, when we talk about AI-powered automated harvesting, what exactly are we picturing? Like, what do these machines look like?
Right. So at its heart, you're looking at sophisticated robots. Think of them as highly specialized farm hands. But instead of just hands, they're equipped with this whole array of advanced cameras, various sensors, LiDAR sometimes, and critically, these sophisticated AI algorithms. They're specifically engineered, to identify, pick, and collect crops pretty autonomously.
Hmm.
It's really a blend of robust mechanics and advanced cognitive intelligence.
It sounds incredibly futuristic, but like you said, it's happening now. So how does this actually work in practice? Out in a field, which is complex, dynamic, how does a machine know, for instance, which tomato is ready and which one needs another day on the vine?
That's where the perception systems are key. Recognizing ripeness is one of their most critical functions. And these are just simple cameras. Often you'll see hyperspectral imaging, maybe those LiDAR sensors creating detailed 3D models of the plant. They can detect really subtle things, changes in chlorophyll, sugar content, even tiny shifts in plant structure. Then the AI models, usually deep learning CNNs typically, interpret all this data. And they predict the optimal ripeness with, honestly, astonishing accuracy, often better than the human eye. This precision ensures crops are picked right at their peak. Best flavor, best shelf life.
Wow, that's a huge leap from just, visual checks by a crew takes out so much guesswork. Okay, so they've identified the perfect fruit or vegetable. How do they actually pick it without, squashing delicate things like berries?
Right, that brings us to precision picking. These robots have highly articulate robotic arms, often with multiple joints, very flexible. They're engineered to pick crops extremely gently. They've sort of mimicked the fine motor skills of a human hand, but crucially, with consistent force and movement every single time. This drastically minimizes damage, which, as you know, is a huge issue with traditional bulk harvesting methods. Less damage means less waste. Simple as that.
And thinking about productivity, human labor is finite, right? People get tired, they need breaks. What's maybe one of the biggest game changers these machines offer in terms of just operational capacity?
Oh, definitely their ability to work around the clock.
Yeah.
That's critical. It's a game changer. Unlike human workers, machines don't get fatigued. They don't need breaks. They don't call in sick. So you can have continuous harvesting operations day and night, even in tough conditions sometimes. And this isn't just about longer hours. For some high-value crops, like strawberries in the Netherlands, I've seen cases where farms are harvesting multiple times a day as the berries ripen. That can lead to something like a 15–20% increase in marketable yield compared to just one human pass per day.
15 to 20%, that's huge.
It is. It means much greater responsiveness to the market and just using the whole crop cycle way more efficiently.
So, okay, if you combine that precision ripeness detection and the gentle picking and the 2 forces 7 operation, the immediate impacts seem pretty profound. You're getting a big jump in efficiency, much less food waste because they're only picking what's ready and handling it carefully, and ultimately a more consistent, higher quality product reaching the consumer.
Precisely. Yeah, it really represents a kind of paradigm shift in how we approach this fundamental task.
Yeah. Okay, so those immediate impacts are clear. But let's step back a bit. What are the broader, maybe more strategic advantages that farmers are seeing when they actually bring this tech onto their land?
Well, what's really interesting is how directly these robots tackle some of the biggest uh, pain points in modern agriculture. First off, there's that undeniable boost in labor efficiency. I mean, globally, we're facing these growing, really persistent shortages of farm labor. It's a real problem, these robots. They provide a reliable, consistent workforce. Doesn't need benefits, doesn't take vacations, works any shift. That stability, that predictability is incredibly valuable in an industry often hit by seasonal labor issues.
And given how much food goes to waste globally every year, that point about reducing waste must be massive, right?
Right, how issues.
Economically and environmentally.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I touched on it, but it's worth emphasizing. The AI's ability to pick only right produce means significantly less food spoils right there in the field. Think about a sudden heat wave or unexpected rain. It can make things ripen super fast. A human crew just might not be able to get to it all before some degrades. Robots working continuously and precisely can really mitigate that risk. Some studies show up to maybe 25% reduction in post-harvest losses for certain high-value crops.
25%.
Yeah, more usable crops get to market, less ends up in landfill. It's a big deal.
I can see how this also just changes the game for really large operations. Managing huge fields must be incredibly tough with only human labor, especially if it's scarce.
That leads right into scalability.
Exactly.
Automation lets farms, especially those large-scale industrial ones where labor is either hard to find or just too expensive at the scale they need. It lets them manage harvesting much more effectively. They can genuinely scale up production capacity without being limited by labor availability. It unlocks higher yield across vast areas, makes those mega farms much more productive.
Okay, but there's always that initial sticker shock with new tech, isn't there? What about the long-term finances for the farmer? Does this actually, pay for itself eventually?
That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the half-million-dollar question sometimes. Yes, there is a significant initial investment. Purchasing, setup. It can range maybe $150,000 to over $500,000 per unit, depending on how complex it is. But over time, automation does lead to substantial cuts in harvesting costs, mostly because you're relying less on manual labor, which is often a huge chunk of a farm's budget. We're seeing pilot farms. There's a big tomato grower in California, I believe.
Yeah.
They're projecting something like a 30–40% cut in annual harvest labor costs within 5 years.
30 to 40% reduction.
It fundamentally shifts their economics.
Okay.
So the ROI, while not instant, can be really profound.
Okay, so we've covered the incredible upside, the benefits. But like with any really groundbreaking tech, especially one operating in such a, messy, complex environment like a field, there've got to be significant hurdles, right? Challenges to navigate. It can't be as simple as just plugging them in.
That's a really crucial point. And yes, the challenges are very real. The most immediate one for many farms is that high upfront cost we just discussed. It's a substantial capital expense, and that makes it a major barrier, particularly for the millions of small and mid-sized farms working on much tighter margins. It's definitely a hurdle that needs addressing if we want widespread adoption.
And just thinking about nature's variety, I mean, a delicate raspberry is so different from a tough potato or a big head of cabbage. How do these robots deal with that sheer crop diversity complexity?
That is a tremendous technical challenge. Huge. Designing machines that are versatile enough to handle all the different shapes, sizes, textures, plant structures. It's incredibly difficult. A robot that's perfect for apples might be completely useless for, say, delicate berries. Or it might even damage root vegetables trying to pick them. It often means specialized engineering, specialized AI training for each crop type. Or ideally, developing much more generalized, adaptable systems, but that's still very much an active area of research and development.
I can only imagine how things like, I don't know, a sudden dust storm, or really uneven ground, or just the changing sunlight through the day could throw a wrench into the works for these machines. What about those environmental factors?
You've hit on another key technical limitation there. Yeah. Unpredictable weather. Heavy rain, strong winds, even just heavy morning dew can be a problem. Varying light conditions like glare-off wet leaves or just navigating uneven terrain. These things can still confuse current AI models. It affects their ability to see the crops accurately, navigate safely, or even use their arms precisely. Making them robust in these dynamic farm environments is still a major focus.
And then there's the human side. For farmers who've relied on generations of knowledge, intuition, integrating these super complex new systems can't be easy. What are some of the adoption barriers beyond just the price?
That's critical for actual implementation, you're right. Farmers need adequate training and, importantly, ongoing support. Everything from just basic operation to advanced troubleshooting, maintenance. They need help integrating these robotic systems into their existing farm workflows. It's not just buying the machine. It's a big shift in skills, in mindset even. Without good support software updates, maybe on-site technicians, the tech won't reach its potential and adoption will stay slow.
So these challenges, they're clearly significant roadblocks. What's the path forward then? How do we get from these, impressive but maybe limited pilot projects to truly widespread global use of automated harvesting?
Yeah, that raises the big question about strategy for the future. We absolutely need to focus on developing and deploying more affordable, scalable solutions. That's number one. Designing systems that are cost-effective, maybe modular, adaptable, systems that cater specifically to the needs of small and mid-sized farms, not just the huge industrial players. Accessibility, both cost and ease of use, has to be paramount.
And going back to that crop diversity problem, it sounds like the AI itself needs to get smarter, more flexible, maybe learn on the job
Right,
almost.
exactly. We need more flexible AI models,
Mhm.
creating algorithms that can adapt easily or be retrained quickly for different crops, different conditions. That's so important. Instead of needing totally new hardware for every crop, we need AI that learns and adjusts fast. Maybe using transfer learning, more generalized perception. That enhances the versatility, makes the tech useful across way more types of agriculture.
And these high-tech farms of the future, they'll need equally high-tech infrastructure to support them, aren't they? It's not just about the robots themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Infrastructure and development is critical, foundational, really. We need vastly improved rural infrastructure. That means reliable power, often things like solar or microgrids become important, and robust, high-speed internet connectivity. You can't run complex AI, transmit sensor data in real time, or do remote diagnostics without a strong digital and energy backbone. That's often the missing piece in many farming regions right now. It holds back progress.
So it's the whole ecosystem around the tech. And finally, getting all these different groups working together, governments, tech companies, the farmers themselves, that sounds crucial to actually making this happen.
Which is why strategic partnerships are so vital.
Yep.
Collaborations between governments, agri-tech firms, farming cooperatives, they're essential to share the pretty substantial costs of R&D and implementation.
Hmm.
These partnerships can also drive those crucial training programs farmers need,
Hmm.
not just to adopt the tech, but to really get the most out of it. It really has to be a collective effort, sharing knowledge, sharing resources.
That seems like a very clear, compelling path forward. Okay, let's indulge a little bit now. Looking further down the road, what's the truly exciting, maybe even transformative future vision for agriculture that AI harvesting and maybe AI more broadly could deliver for all of us?
Well, we could genuinely see fully automated farms becoming, well, maybe not the only model, but certainly much more common. Imagine a future where AI robots manage the entire agricultural life cycle. So not just harvesting. We're talking planting seeds with incredible precision, constantly monitoring crop health for the earliest signs of disease or pests or nutrient issues, optimizing irrigation, fertilization, and then, yes, the final harvest, all integrated, managed by a central AI system that's learning and optimizing constantly.
Wow. Okay, so if the machines are doing all that physical work, what happens to the farmers, the people who've traditionally stewarded the land? What's left for the human element? How does their role change?
Yeah, the role of the farmer would evolve dramatically. It would shift away from manual labor towards much higher level work, strategic planning, sophisticated resource management, really leveraging the data insights that AI provides. Think of them more like high-tech strategists, data analysts, robotics fleet managers, making critical decisions based on real-time information and predictive analytics, rather than spending all day doing physically demanding field work. It's a big shift to intellectual and managerial labor.
That sounds like an incredibly powerful promise for humanity, especially when you think about population growth, climate change, the need for more food. What are the ultimate potential outcomes of this future for, billions of people?
The promise is immense and, frankly, critical. This future envisions substantially higher crop yields, pretty much across the board, a drastic reduction in food waste, thanks to all that precision and efficiency we talked about. And ultimately, the establishment of a far more sustainable and resilient global food system, a system capable of feeding billions more people more effectively and hopefully with less environmental impact, think reduced water use, less fertilizer, fewer pesticides. It's really a vision of food security and ecological responsibility working hand in hand.
That is an inspiring vision. It really underscores that AI and automated harvesting is, well, it's much more than just an efficiency upgrade for farms, isn't it? It feels like a foundational step towards building genuinely resilient food systems, systems that can meet that accelerating global demand and adapt to the challenges of a well, a rapidly changing world. It's about ensuring food security for generations to come. A real testament, perhaps, to how intelligence can tackle some of humanity's biggest, most persistent challenges.
It really is about harnessing intelligence, applying it to solve one of our most fundamental needs, and doing it with hopefully unprecedented efficiency and care.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we wrap up today's deep dive, here's a final thought for you, our listener, to consider. How might this fundamental shift in agricultural labor from human hands to these increasingly sophisticated robotic arms? How might that not only impact global food security, which we've discussed, but also reshape things like rural economies, workforce development needs, maybe even the very fabric of our social structures in ways we're only just beginning to imagine? It's a huge question, profound implications.
Definitely much to ponder there. A lot to think about.
This has been another deep dive from AI 10X brought to you by 10 Leaves. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of AI's impact on our food future. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed.